The next topic is colligative properties of solution. So when you are talking about a solution, that means you are talking about a homogeneous system which has a single phase, okay, where we can have the same type of chemical composition throughout the medium or throughout the solution. Then it is a mixture of two or more components, that is two or more chemical species will be there. Then chemical species are distributed in a molecular scale. These are the essential criteria of a solution. Now the solution is composed of a solvent and a solute. When a solute is added to a solvent in order to form a solution, we have noticed that there are some changes occurs when we are going from pure solvent to a solution. Where are this case? This case is we have noticed depression of freezing point, elevation of boiling point, and osmotic pressure. Okay, these three phenomena altogether is known as colligative property of the system, and this colligative property is depend on number of the particles present in the system. These particles may be molecules, may be ions, maybe any type of molecular species. Then these are known, this number will influence the colligative property, that is these three property of the solution. Now next is one important law is Raoult's law. This Raoult's law tells us that vapor pressure of a solution containing a non-volatile solute is equal to the vapor pressure of the solvent multiplied with the mole fraction or amount fraction of the solvent in the solution. What is this? If I consider the vapor pressure of the solvent is P1 in the solution, then it will be equal to mole fraction of the solvent in the solution into vapor pressure of the solvent in its pure state. That is P0 is the P0 is the vapor pressure of the solvent in its pure state, and P1 is the vapor pressure of the solution. And here and X1 is the mole fraction of the solvent in the solution. Here we are considering that this solute is non-volatile, so it is not contributing to any to the vapor pressure of the solution. So whatever the vapor pressure of the solution originating from its solvent part only. Then if we notice that X1 is the mole fraction of my solvent in the solution and X2 is the mole fraction of solute in the solution, then this X2 plus X1 or X1 plus X2 will be 1, because mole fraction, 2 mole fraction will be made the total thing 1. Now the vapor pressure of solvent in solution equal to vapor pressure of solution. Why? Because the solute is non-volatile, so X1 P0 is the vapor pressure of the solvent solution. If both the solvent and solute are volatile, then that will be different case. P1 equal to X1 P0, like that will be another case. So if we forget these things, and if you notice that there is a decrease in vapor pressure when I am going from a pure solvent to solution case. So there, because this fractional number is not equal to 1, it is less than 1. X1 now less than 1. So the whatever the vapor pressure we are noticing in the solution, that will be always less than the vapor pressure noticed in a pure solvent. So this case we are considering that there is a lowering of vapor pressure when we have added some non-volatile solute to a solvent, pure solvent. And what will be the extent of this vapor pressure lowering? that is, if I say P1 equal to x1 P naught, then I can write this x1 in terms of 1 minus x2. Now x2 is the mole fraction or amount fraction of the solute. So I can write this way. If I make the what amount of vapor pressure is decreasing, so initial vapor pressure is P0 minus P1 final vapor pressure, then that will be positive thing, and this will yield to me a P0 x2. Now if I write x2 equal to P0 minus P1 by P0, this left hand quantity is known as relative lowering of vapor pressure due to the addition of non-volatile solute, which has the mole fraction of x2. Now we are going to discuss why a boiling point increases and freezing point decreases in presence of non-volatile solute in a solution, because the boiling point of a pure solvent is less than the boiling point of a solution of the solution. So if that can be presented by two ways. Number one is you can use mu versus T plot, that is chemical potential versus T plot, and P versus T plot for this. If we look at the first mu versus T plot, then we can have mu versus T plot for each state. That means in solid state we have a straight line which has less slope. Then I have a straight line this which is a higher slope. Then I have a straight line for vapor phase, that is for pure solvent. Okay. Now if I go to the solution, then what will happen? The chemical potential of solution becomes equal to the chemical potential of pure solvent in the solid state, because in the solid state if I solidify the solution, then both non-volatile solute and volatile solvent both becomes solid. So there is no question of change in the chemical potential. Okay, they are separated out as a single solid. Now the second thing is, if I go to a vapor phase for a solution, then both the solute and solvent are evaporated and they are going to the vapor phase. So there is no question of making such anomaly that they do not have equal state. That means whenever some molecules are in liquid phase, some molecules are in vapor phase, there will be some anomaly, then there will be a change in the chemical potential. So there will be no change in the chemical potential for a mixture in its solid state and a gaseous state. The only change will occur in the liquid state, and in liquid state we have already noticed that there is a lowering of vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure told us that or suggest that there is a lowering of chemical potential, because you know that this mu is related to pressure at a constant temperature. So if you look at this, then at any temperature this mu value will be decreases as pressure is decreasing, relative pressure is vapor pressure is decreasing. So we only remember that mu is decreases from its true value, that is this solid line for solvent, this is for solution. So now whatever the transition point, let's say this point where the both solid line and liquid lines are touches, that is my freezing point. Similarly, when both liquid line and gas line are touches, this is my gas line not, this is vaporization line and liquidification line, only line for liquid are touched, that is my boiling point. Similarly, when I have added the solute, then my mu value decreases and this is shifted to a lower mu value, and the new touching point is here. So the corresponding temperature for freezing is decreases as compared to the pure solvent. Similarly, if I notice new touching point is here, so the temperature for boiling now it increases from the boiling point of the pure solvent. So that amount is the delta TB, delta TF, that is TF freezing, and this is my second, this one is my delta TB. Okay, this is one case. In another way, you can consider a phase diagram. Let's say it's a phase diagram of water. Like I am talking about a water system where we have added some non-volatile solute, let's say sodium chloride. The solid line for pure solvent. This line suggests solid liquid equilibrium. This line suggests solid liquid vapor equilibrium, and this is for solid to vapor equilibrium. Okay, solidification line. Okay, now if I add some non-volatile solute to water, then what will happen? The chemical potential for liquid phase decreases. This is for pure water. Now this is for water in the solution. Okay, that is the new line for this solid line now becomes that. Similarly, this solid line which represents solid liquid equilibrium also shifted to the lower value, so that will become like this. Now the definition of your freezing point is at a given pressure, that is I am saying that this is the pressure which is a atmospheric pressure which is exerted by the external environment, then this will be my freezing point for the pure case. Now this is shifted to lower value for the when I added sodium chloride, that is I have made a solution. Now if you know that the boiling point of a liquid is equal to the temperature where the pressure becomes equal with the external pressure. Okay, and it should touch this line along this line where I can get a value where my pressure is equal to external pressure. So this point signifies that my external pressure, that is the standard definition is that the liquid will boil when its vapor pressure will be equal to the 1 atmospheric pressure, and the liquid will freeze when my standard it is equal to the standard atmospheric pressure. Okay, all are standard atmospheric pressure. Okay, now this will be the solid case, and now that is the point where it can have a equal value of atmospheric pressure or external pressure in liquid, then that will be TB, and this will be then when we have added sodium chloride, then the temperature goes up, that is the new TB. So this difference is the boiling point difference, delta TB, and this is delta TA. Okay, in another way you can understand it is a simple manner. If you forget this line, you can forget this. You just consider this is a liquid line, this is a solid line. The things will come the freezing point is the point where both the liquid and solid line touches. Okay, for pure, that is the freezing line. Okay, now for solvent, when we have added some solute, non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure decreases for the solid, liquid, and solid remains same, so it will look like this. Okay, now where it has started touched the solid line here, that will be a new freezing point. But the boiling point definition is the vapor pressure of the liquid will be equal to the vapor pressure of the external vapor pressure environment, P equal to 1 atm, like say. Then this will be the 1 atm for solution, and this will be for my solvent. So this will be TB. So that will be TB for my TB for my solution, and that will be TB for my pure solvent. So the gap will be delta TB, delta TB, and this small gap is my delta F, delta TF. Okay.